Hello and welcome to Pendilick. This is a fictitious Cornish China clay layout in Engage, but it didn't quite actually start off to be a China clay layout. More will be reviewed in this layout tour and introduction of how I accidentally built this. So let's make a start. Now, those who are familiar with my YouTube channel would have noticed I've been building a layout called the Engage project, and there's not been an upload on that for a long time if you are following it. The honest answer, that layout has completely stopped in its tracks. It stopped because I was having terrible problems with the points on DCC and I sort of lost interest in it. But there is hope for that layout. Belonging to my local model railway club, I have some friends who have offered to help me, but unfortunately because of this year, obviously with the global pandemic sadly, like many other model railway clubs, they've all been closed, so it hasn't really been up there to get sorted yet. Now, I started building this layout last year actually. I know it's not really been built in the global pandemic, but it shows you how long I've not touched the original Engage project. So that brings me on to how I accidentally built this one. Well, this layout, which I am now giving you a general overview, is 4 foot by 2 foot. And this is how the Engage project layout evolved. Originally I was bored one day, I had this baseboard in the garage, I just thought, get my trains out, have a play. I accidentally built this design and started playing with China clay stuff on it. And it evolved into the Engage project, different track design, based on the Goon Barrow China clay works on the Nuki branch, which is sort of similar on this one, but I've done this one on fictitiously as if the Pendilick branch was still open all the way to Nuki, and called this one Pendilick. No, not Pendilick, I just said that. Pendilick, this one's called. So yeah. Anyway, I was bored one day and I accidentally got the cork out, and then one thing led to another and I accidentally laid some track. Now, this is a generic layout. This layout is to run whatever I want, not to run a specific era. It's dual analog and digital, and is very basic with buildings, so I can run any era I want on this layout because it's your railway. At the end of the day, you should be able to run whatever you want. So I've obviously got a Duke Dog out from Union Mills here with my B set coaches, got DB Red 66, and in the fiddle yard, which I will show you a bit in a minute, obviously I've got 43002 and half of its train, the other half is in another siding because not quite big enough to take the 4 cars. But let's get the Duke Dog around in a second. It's a fantastic model made by Union Mills. So as I said, I started laying some track and one thing led to another. I got stuck into the build really. And then originally I thought, well, if I'm building it, I'll just build it to try new techniques on, something to practice on. Much as I have done it on this, it's ended up becoming a serious layout, and I've just sort of thought, no, I'll build it into a proper layout. I was having a debate with myself for a long time. Do I run steam era on here? Do I run diesels? Because I'm into it all. I like steam, I like my diesels. Then I thought, oh, I know. The Bodmin and Wentford Railway. Not sure on the dates when they ran this, but if any of the viewers out there may know it. They had at Walker's Lane sidings, I believe it's called. They used to have a regular freight train over the Preserve branch from the mainline connection up there with some VGA wagons, and I thought, why don't I make it a preserve railway, doing the same thing like that, but with China clay wagons, and have my Heritage Diesel bringing in all the CDA wagons in hoods and etc. And then I sort of fell off that and just thought, the layout's generic enough, I could run any era I want on it. So the fact I have got over here a semaphore box and one semaphore signal, I can do it because I like it. That's also a lot of that stuff still in Cornwall, a lot of semaphores. Got an engine shed which is grade 1 listed, so it's been restored. It's not finished yet, I still need to get some chimneys for the top. But that's a Metcalfe kit. The signal is from P&D Marsh, and this is Blue Anchor signal box. However, this one's going on the big N-Gauge project layout. I'm going to get another Western Region box for this layout. This is Bachmann Scenic Craft in N-Gauge. And this here, the clay building, is scratch built out of balsa wood by myself. It's not entirely finished. I've started to weather the roof. It needs a bit more, so maybe like a few rusty streaks or a few tiny green shrubs just creeping in as if it's like moss. And obviously I've got a door entrance down there where you can still see the wood I need to sort out. I'd like to try and add some lights underneath here, and at the end. So yeah, those are the buildings on the layout. Very basic again. That's the only buildings. The scenery I have used is a combination of several stuff. These are not woodland scenic. They are Gauge Master seafoam trees, and I think they're really good. I would like to change them to make them look summery because they're a bit bare and wintry. So these are going to get changed at some point. Obviously, you've got a few dotted around the layout. And up here as well. To achieve this hill, I've used some insulation foam board and just basically carved it, undercoated it with brown paint, just like you see along here. That's under the grass, so if any of that peels off, you just think it's mud and you don't really notice it's actually insulation board. And then obviously I've got some cows from Graham Farish. There's a little trough under that tree. I'm going to replace the fence on here and use, I can't remember what they're called now, but they make a lot of wooden laser cut kits. I think it's Model Railway Scenics, could be wrong. I'll try and put a link in the description if I can find them. I've got these fences which I bought off a friend who accidentally bought the N-Gauge ones when he does 00, so that was a good opportunity to replace this ratio fencing on the layout. This was the first hillside I actually made for the layout, and then I just detailed it into a farm track. I'd like to get a gate to go here, and it's got a person and a couple and Mr. Bean's Mini. If I can ever find a figure, I may put Mr. Bean on top of the Mini, like that episode where he ends up driving it from the top of his Mini, but we shall see. So that's the scenery. Well, there's more scenery obviously. Now here where my 50 is on the bridge, that's a Pico girder strip. I need to do a bit more detailing around this sort of side of the layout. I need to like make it more looking naturally going into something. Well, going away into the distance as behind the scenes into a fiddle yard. And then also I need to touch up where the white plaster cloth is showing there, because under there is a white plaster cloth hillside I made. The road here is made mainly of ply and then battens, a 2B1, just like here you see, supporting it. And for the surface I've used filler on top, and then just rubbed it down, given it a grey coat of paint. Again, it's not fully finished. Obviously I need to paint my white lines into it. And I'd like to put some hedgerow or a crash barrier, either one, up obviously along both edges of the road. And that. Now this tunnel mouth is a Metcalfe kit, which was built by my friend Tim. who's done a superb job on it, and I think it's absolutely great. And I've got a few rocks here. These are actual rocks out of my garden. They're not artificial ones that I've made or bought or anything. So they're out the garden. However, this rock face here and the one behind the clay building, that's made from using a Woodland Scenics mould and just filling it with filler. At least I let him 3 or 4 days for it to dry before it was even ready to peel out. My first attempt didn't go very well because, well, I didn't let it dry long enough, so it all came out cracked. So yeah, that's how I made the rock face. And behind the rock face, this is all a plaster bandage hill, using various Woodland Scenic ranges for the greenery and the shrubs, which is pretty much all the grass and shrubs are Woodland Scenic with the exception of this. This is static grass I've been experimenting with from a Woodland Scenic starter kit, and the grass is from Pico, which has come out a bit better than my first attempt, so I'm happy with that. The track is made from Pico, and yeah, that's the front of the layout really. So next plans I've got, I want to improve the scenery around this area a little bit more. I'm happy with this brighter shade of green, happy with that. And I've recently just added a gravel path in from the signal box to the engine shed and all the way up to the China Clay Works. I just need to finish off making the crossing here and the same there in the forefoot in the middle of the track. I'd like to weather this, make it more clay looking, like, and obviously it's a bit green from where I've been doing all my grass work. I'd like to weather all the rocks, a bit more weathering on there, and that will be the front finished. Well, there are maybe 1 or 2 more things. I'd just like a few vehicles. I've got a few more buildings, like an office building to go around here, but I'll get some appropriate ECC vehicles, and I'd like to put a few more signals like this one amongst the layout here and there. So yeah, that is Pendilick. So I think what we'll do now, I'll stop yapping and we'll run some trains. But if there's any questions, feel free to comment. And as I said, this is a generic layout which I will run anything I want, and that's how a model railway should be. If you ever get people moaning at you saying you can't run that because they didn't run with it, but if you like seeing it run with it, then you do what you want. Your railway, run whatever you want. That's the fun of model railways. So let's run some trains now. Just before I go, I will feature the fiddle yard and how the layout works with all the electrics in another part. So this is part 1, so look out for part 2 when I go over the electrics and showing you the fiddle yard. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.